Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report Aftershow. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. This show is brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/Opperman Report. Sign up for free. Get yourself a free audiobook. Okay, we had tonight with us here Larry. I don't have his information in front of me anymore. Larry Tillman, talking about the occult and 9/11 and all that kind of stuff. Whew. Okay, very good show. Let's see. Got a whole bunch of stuff I want to talk to you guys about. Okay. Well, I had a birthday this week. September 9th was my birthday. And it's also the anniversary of the day that I got saved. Gave my life to the Lord September 9th. I think it was 1989. So it's been quite some time. A lot of people are familiar with that whole story. Hey, by the way, I have a video that my dad gave me, sent it to me, is when I was preaching in a church back when I first got saved. And it's on a CD, so we have to figure out a way to upload it, maybe to the members section or something like that. Speaking of the members section, I had a whole bunch of great shows this week. Let's see, is my audio up? Let's see. Pull up the chat room here. Yay! Okay. Is somebody tell me in the chat room there if my audio is good? Yeah, so had the birthday, and I'm doing this. I'm still kind of doing this Daniel fast, so I'm not drinking. I'm not drinking any coffee. I'm not drinking any booze. I'm not eating any meat. I still haven't really eaten any meat yet since we pretty much dropped the fast. I'm still trying to lose some weight. Oh yeah, everybody says audio is good. Very good, very good. So I'm still trying to lose some weight. But my friend, my ex-girlfriend back from Staten Island, lives here in Vegas. In fact, she's the one I got saved with. She brought me to the church September 9th when I first got saved. She's the one who brought me there. And so we went out, and some friends of ours that we both know from New York and stuff like that. But since I'm not drinking or eating meat, they took me to a really nice restaurant. We went to Piero's, which is the restaurant you see in the movie it's Casino, that Joe Pesci owned. That Anthony Spilaccio owned, in the movie Casino. And so we went there, but I couldn't order. I usually like to get the ossobuco when I go there, but I couldn't have that. So I just had the seafood platter, which is really good. That's a great restaurant. I love it. It's still owned by some kind of characters, man. They're up to some stuff. It still has that old Vegas feel, trust me. So anyway, that was my birthday. Happy birthday to me. And, good old Sean Duff from the band Strawman, strawmanmusic.com. He was nice enough. He put this link on the website to send a happy birthday message to Ed Opperman. So I want to thank you all for those messages. It's very kind of you. And I love you all. You guys have no idea how much I love you. Okay, let's see what else is going on. Oh yeah, big news, guys. I just finally got the hang of it on how to pitch myself to these AM, FM stations around the country. I understand how it works, and we can definitely do this. A year from now, we'll be on 20 AM, FM stations. There's no doubt in my mind. When I send the demo shows out to these guys, and these are the owners of stations, they run radio stations. It's just like all the people who listen to the shows for the first time, and they love the shows, and then they go on that binge. They do the binge listen, and they listen to like 10 shows, in a day, which is the kind of stuff I used to do with the old May Brussels stuff. So people are really loving the guests. They love the topics, and a couple of these station owners actually went and became subscribers. They subscribed to the member section too. But the thing is, we can't get in there without bringing sponsors with us. Now, the biggest opportunity we have right now, better than the Arizona station I was telling you about, is we can be on an AM station in California, and it covers Malibu, it covers Riverside, Santa Clarita, Big Bear Lake, Palm Springs, Temecula, Oceanside, San Clemente, Hemet, where my ex-girlfriend used to live in Hemet. So I'd love to be on there too. Holly, if you're out there, I love you. So, all the Holly stories are hysterical. Victoria loves to talk about those. But it would cover all that area there. And we need, like 3 tiny little sponsors to get us on there, to get our foot in the door over there. So if you have a business or a website, and it'll still be promoted all over on these 19 internet stations that we have all week long, every day. But also, too, we'll get it one day a week in the middle of the night. It'll be late at night, like after 11 o'clock at night. But I think this show would be good in the middle of the night. And you'll reach all these areas, Malibu, all these people got money, Riverside, Orange County, all these areas. So contact me, please, oppermanreport@gmail.com. If you want to advertise on the show, I will give you, I just want to break even on this. I'm not asking to make any advertising money, just to get us in there, and then I'll make money from the members section. Speaking of the members section, I had some great stuff in the members section this week. I did a show with this guy, Leslie James Pickering. He's the author of the book, The Mad Bomber Melville. And it's about this guy, Sam Melville, from the 60s and the 70s, who started off the whole bombing craze. He was a leftist, a social activist, Vietnam War protester. And he's the one that came up. He was a very methodical guy. He was like an engineer. And he knew his way around these empty office buildings. And he started planting these bombs. And he was the one that inspired the Weather Underground and all these guys to start doing these bombings. So fascinating story. And the guest, Leslie James Pickering, has his own story because he was with the Earth Liberation Front. He was their press office liaison guy. So he would get the notices from the more militant ELF guys that were out there, setting fire to these earth-moving machines and stuff like that. And so he's been under FBI surveillance and harassment for years and years and years. So look him up, Leslie James Pickering. There's a ton of stories out there about it. This guy's, and he doesn't back down. He lives in Buffalo, New York. He has a bookstore called burningbooksbuffalo.com. So we need to check him out and throw him our support. It's a real guy who got his butt on the front lines out there, putting his ass on the line every day to resist. And we had a good discussion. I really enjoyed it. He's a positive guy. And he's very optimistic, and I appreciate that. And even when we were doing the show, he was late for the show because he lives up there in Buffalo by Attica Prison. Oh, by the way, we talked about Attica too because Melville died in Attica. He died in the Attica uprising. He was one of the rioters that got shot by the cops in Attica Prison. So, and he was late for the interview because he's a woman who was married to one of these old Black Panthers from the 70s. Has been in prison for 30 years, 40 years. He gives her a ride up there to the prison. He lets her stay at his house. And we have a lot of people that we know in common. So really good guy. Leslie James Pickering. Check him out. That show's in the member section. Then also, too, I spoke with Margaret Randall, who wrote the book Che on My Mind. And her website is margaretrandall.org. And you really got to check her out. She lived in Cuba. She met Che Guevara's family. She's met Fidel Castro. She was involved in the Mexican socialist movement back in the 70s. Really, really a wonderful woman. She was my mother's age. And just to hear this woman, so delightful. And she was she's so enamored and romantically in love with the Cuban culture and the island of Cuba. And it was really a nice discussion with her. And she's like a legendary woman, too. You got to look her up. She's also an activist that when she tried to come back to the United States, she had to leave the United States. She had to leave Mexico because, things didn't go their way down there with the socialist movement in Mexico back in the 60s. So she had to leave there. And she went to Nicaragua for a while, but then wound up in Cuba for safe haven. And when she wanted to leave Cuba and come back to the United States, they wouldn't let her in because they says, well, she's writing stuff that's unfavorable to the United States, so she's an enemy of the state, and we will not let her back in. But she did finally come back in, and she got a grant. I think it was the Dashiell Hammett grant for people that are activists and under attack by the government that are writers. So she's another one, that we want to support. And she has a whole series of lectures and book signings coming up in California, October 17th at UCLA. But all that's on margaretrandall.org. So check her out. Really nice woman. And like I said, her kids went to school with Che Guevara's kids. And so we had a nice discussion about the history of Che Guevara and a lot of stuff. We talked about a lot of stuff. They're really, really a cool woman. Did another show this week. It's on Spreaker and iHeart and YouTube, and it's called A Child Abduction Story. And I don't know if the guest didn't want to mention any names, but if you listen to that story, I did it on a Saturday night or a Sunday night. I forget. It was one of the extra free shows we do. It's not in the member section. That'll give you an idea of the kind of jobs I work on when I'm doing my PI work. Those are the kind of clients you get, the people that are in trouble, and you got to kind of get the story out of them, what's going on. And you'll find out if you listen to that show that things are not as black and white as you might think. It's a story about her 13-year-old daughter. Or no, her daughter's like 14 years old, same daughter as Victoria. Straight A student, and met some guy on the internet who was a 35-year-old convicted sex offender. He lured her from the home. They were on the run for weeks, and when finally this guy was caught, the police are pressing charges against the daughter, the 14-year-old victim, because she stole a car from the stepfather, and now there's all kinds of custody issues and divorce behind the scenes, and everyone fighting over disability checks, and that's the story you don't hear on Nancy Grace, or HLN. That's the real story of these kids that run away from home and get involved with these sex traffickers and all these kind of characters. So it's a tough show to listen to, it really is. But that'll give you more of an idea of the kind of work that I do, and the kind of stuff I get involved with, and the kind of people that you get involved with too in these cases. Speaking of which, I've been all week long revisiting the story of Scott Ertmoed. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Eertmoed. This is Wheisenberg, who was the host and the webmaster over at Revolution Radio, over at freedomslips.com. I met him when I was working over there. I had a little show over there on Thursday. Oh, by the way, our show is going to be 2 years old. September 28th is when I started doing the show. Or maybe it might have been 24th. So it's just about 2 years old we're doing this show. But I took a couple of months off in September up until January, because I started off doing this little Thursday morning show at like 11 o'clock in the morning. And it's a tiny little station. And just one station. Hardly anybody listened, I'm sure. Although the shows we brought over there, we brought that West Memphis Trio show over there. So we had a lot of made a big splash over there. Brought a lot of unwelcome attention to ourselves. A lot of attacks and problems. But then we got moved to Friday nights in January. So it'll really be 2 years in January that the show is full blown. And then we started picking up affiliates and other stations and doing our own Spreaker and stuff like that in April. And then the rest is history, as they say. But over there was a guy that worked there named Wheisenberg. And I've talked about this a little bit in the past. And Wheisenberg was this character. And he was kind of a strange guy. But he was always in the chat room over there. And he was this guy who was like contrary to everything. Every topic he disagreed with. He was like a know-it-all, an expert on everything. But kind of charming about it, And a smart guy. So he had a radio show over there, too, where he talked about prepping. And it was a kind of a stupid show. The show was very boring. I don't think it had any listeners at all. But it was right before, on Saturday nights, right before Douglas Diedrich's show. So, and I would always get confused. I couldn't remember if Doug's show came on at 7 or if it came on at 5. So I used to always tune over there at 5, and then I'd hear this guy, Wheisenberg, and I'd just kind of sit through his show. And he was always in the chat room and stuff like that. So it turns out that hits the news. He's living down there in Virginia with these roommates in his house. And it hits the news down there in Virginia that DHS was investigating a child pornography case, and they showed up at his door because they traced it back to his IP address and to his internet service provider. So they showed up at his door. They let him in. They go up to his bedroom. The door's open. And they can see his laptop there sitting open on the desk or on the bed or something like that. Oh, boy, I'm losing my voice. And they can see that on his laptop right there is that it's open to a website that's dedicated to discussing and trading child pornography. So they talk to him. He admits it's him. First he tries to say, he's doing his little undercover investigation, his own investigation. Then he admits that it was his and that he was guilty about it. He felt bad. Could he go? He's going to throw up. Can he go to the sink and throw up in the sink? He grabs a knife. He tries to cut his throat. They take him to the hospital. Then when he's released, he tries to escape. But they finally arrest him. Department of Homeland Security arrests him. I got a copy of the criminal complaint. And I got to make a point. We can make that available. Where are we going to put it? I guess I can move some of this stuff to the member section. We can put up in the member section. But it's really disgusting what's in this complaint. He has all these different videos and stuff with kids as little as 3 years old. So the case goes on, and I'm following the case, and he pleads guilty. And I forget when it was. I think it was like March. And he gets sentenced just recently to 12 years in prison. So I just found out this week. Then after he's sentenced to this 12 years in prison, he pleads guilty to that. Gets 12 years. Turns out that there has been a grand jury, a secret grand jury, in the state of Virginia, where he's also being charged. He was just indicted on 8 counts of child rape of a 3-year-old child. And there's some indications that he was raping this child as early as as she was 2 years old. So it just came out this week that this character, Wheisenberg, he's recanted his confession and his guilty plea. And he's going to appeal the guilty plea, which is interesting for a lot of reasons. Okay? One is that judges hate that. Okay? Judges and prosecutors hate it when a defendant pleads guilty and then comes back later on and tries to recant that guilty plea and appeal that guilty plea and then reopen. Now they want to go to trial. So there's no way he can win a trial because he's confessed. He's confessed to this in front of the cops. They trace it to his computer. There's all kinds of admission. There's a admission of guilt by trying to escape. He tried to escape. So who's advising this man? I have no idea. So now he's going to trial on these child rape charges, 8 counts of child rape, of raping a 3-year-old. In October. I believe it's October 9th. And so now he's facing those charges, and now he's going back on these. But they dropped it down to 1 charge of child pornography. It was like 8 counts. It was like 4 counts originally, but they dropped it down to 1 in the plea negotiation. You got 12 years. So if he goes back now and goes to trial on the pornography charges, he's going to get 25 years on that. Then he's going to get convicted on these rape charges. He's going to get 25 to life on that. So this guy's in prison for the rest of his life. So the question is, who's advising this character to do this? Okay? And also, too, who is funding this? How is he getting the money to do this? Because I'm talking to people that have known this guy for a very long time, and he's never had any money. Okay? Also, too, if you look, I did a little post about this on Facebook, because he also got caught when he was in the Marines. He got caught having child pornography mailed to himself while he was in the barracks at the Marine Corps. And they caught him with it. He admitted to it, but somehow he got an honorable discharge and received no charges. Now, if this guy somehow gets out of these charges, then we know something's up for a fact. Okay, there is something really bad going on here. But just the fact that this guy has not a penny in his pocket and hasn't for years and years and years, and somehow he's able to file this filing fees involved with filing an appeal. Now, and there's also you can get a public defender if you're facing jail time, which he is. So you can get a public defender, but just very, 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 very odd stuff here. There's also now, the guy's name is Scott Irritamort. He's known as Wheisenberg over at Revolutionary Radio, but he had another couple of names too. He had an alias Jonathan Vincent Bradford and another alias Skylar Cyrus. Now, what I find interesting about this is he used the name Jonathan Vincent Bradford because there is a real Jonathan Vincent Bradford. And the allegation is that this Jonathan Vincent Bradford handed Wheisenberg, Scott, a copy of his birth certificate and social security number and said, here, use this. So he was somehow aware that this guy was on the lam. And as far as I know, and I'm working on this still, guys, there have been no charges brought against this Jonathan Vincent Bradford, who's a truck driver. I think his last known location is in Texas. But now, it's also interesting to note that, because I worked at the same station he did, and when I first started over there, I heard all these stories about how they do background checks on people, and they investigate people, and they do this, and they do that, and they check people's military records, and they have all this abilities to do all this checking. And I said, oh, that's interesting. Because they were even making these allegations about some other character over there about his military record. He was lying about it. Yeah, because we have ways to check this, Okay, fine, very good. So, if they did even a cursory check on the name Jonathan Bradford, then we would know that there's Jonathan. This is what I do this for a living. I find this kind of stuff all the time. That there would be two Jonathan Bradfords, one living in Texas and one living in Virginia, using the same social security number, same date of birth, and with activity in two locations. You'd find this simply, very quickly. You find this, and it's a blatant indication that there's something going on. So either it was a lie when they tell me they do these checks on people, or they checked it and they knew this guy was in two locations and using fake ID. So it makes you wonder about that. Okay. I also found out, too, very interesting, too, for people that are following this story and have listened to Wheisenberg on his show on the radio, is that I found out that he was involved in day trading. Okay? Now, if you listen to his show, he talks about, I just discovered day trading, and I'm doing this day trading. I'm just learning how to do it. And he was helping some other day trader by creating a website for him and webmastering that website for him. But what I'm found out is he's been doing his day trading for a very, very long time, way before he ever started on the show over there on Revolution Radio. So that's another thing that's kind of odd to me, and I'm wondering what's going on with that. Oh, boy. Now, another thing I find odd is that there was another character over that station, a guy named Scott David Peters from Winnipeg, Canada. And he also hosted a roundtable. And he would hang out in the chat room as well with the name Truth War. So it really seems unusual to me that if you got 10 people in a chat room and 2 of them now, today, are convicted child pornographers hanging out in the same chat room, that's like 20% of that chat room is involved in this crime, this type of activity. And to me, again, that seems to be a very unusual coincidence. Okay? But who knows? Maybe that's just me. But this is what I'm finding. Now, there's sort of a theory that this is all widely known information and everybody knows this already, and I just have some kind of a grudge against the station owner, the owner of the station over there. And he seems to feel that when I report on Wheisenberg being a convicted sex offender, and now he's about to be convicted for a child rapist, that I'm making a personal attack on him. Okay? And what we found out with is that because there was another fan over there of the station who began criticizing the fact that this character, Scott David Peters, was arrested for child pornography. Then she brought up Wheisenberg. And she was told by one of the management over there, out of the blue, if you have anything to do with Ed Opperman, or if anybody at this station has anything to do with Ed Opperman, you're banned from the station. Now, very interesting to me, okay? Because I was sent a message written by the owner of that station claiming that all this was common knowledge. Everything about this can be found on the internet using Google, all this information. Well, I would just challenge anybody out there, if that's true, okay? Google this right now and see if you could find out anything about the name John Vincent Bradford. Okay, you'll find the name Jonathan Bradford, but you won't find Jonathan Vincent Bradford. That's nowhere to be found by any Google search. You won't find a copy of the complaint that I have. You won't find anything about these new 8-count indictment and this trial that's coming up. There's no news stories about this. I'm the only one reporting on this. There's nothing about him recanting his guilty plea and appealing his guilty plea. That's not been reported anywhere. There's a whole other story, too, even down in Virginia. This should have been a big story down there. But no one's reporting on this there either, which makes me wonder what's going on. But when you hear people tell you, hey, this is old news, and this has all been reported on, and Ed Opperman, he finds that by using Google, well, I challenge anybody out there to try and use Google and find any of the information I've reported you to tonight. And if you could find it, then you can call me a liar, okay? But if you can't find it, then the person claiming you can find it is a liar, okay? And I think we'll just leave it at that. I'm going to keep working on this because I have a lot of questions and a lot of suspicions. I'll be blatantly honest with you. I have a lot of suspicions about what's going on here. That I think that a lot of these detectives working on this case and a lot of the people involved, and a lot of first-hand people I'm talking to, are not aware of. So we're going to keep working on this and see what we can get. But as of right now, Wheisenberg, Scott Irtemart, he is in prison. He's serving his 12 years, but he is going to try and appeal this. He's recanted his guilty plea, and he's going to try and appeal this. Good luck. Whoever is advising him to do that, I have no idea. But another big question is how is he financing this? Who is paying for the filing fees on this appeal? You can get a public defender for free, but there are fees to filing. So let's see what's going on with that. We're going to take a little break here. You can call in if you want, 702-605-4894. You can talk about that case. We can talk about the woman I had whose her daughter was abducted. We can talk about my birthday. If you want to send me a birthday gift. We can talk about this new station in California that we're trying to get on. We can talk about all these things I've been talking about here. A couple other things too I'll mention when I get back. But 702-605-4894, or you can Skype in at ed.opperman. We'll be right back after these messages. Whoop, and I wasn't set up to do this. Let's see, it's going to take me a second to do this. I'll keep talking. By the way, too, I have been picked up to be a columnist. I'm going to be writing a column. I'm not sure if this is a weekly magazine or a monthly magazine, but I'm only going to do one column a month. I can't do more than that. And it's a magazine that's in Oregon. It's one of those it's all about yoga and stuff like that. And anyway, we'll be right back after these messages. And now, a word from our sponsors. Pacific West Bamboo, your premier source for sustainable building material. They provide construction-grade and craft-grade bamboo material for all your indoor, outdoor, and gardening needs. Contact them for event planning and display building as well. 503-839-8126. Or you go to their new website, pacificwestbamboo.com. Or you can contact them on Facebook at Pacific West Bamboo. That's 503-839-8126. Amanda from Pacific West Bamboo was our first sponsor. She's been so good to us, so please support her in return. I want to make everybody aware of our new members section at www.oppermanreport.com. You can go there and sign up for a monthly, quarterly, or yearly subscription. You can even purchase episodes one by one. You get full access to brand new original content, new guests, new uncensored interviews, my own investigations and reports, and we're going to be adding sections with documents, images, police reports, either provided by myself or by my guests, or for my own investigations, my own reports. So you can go to oppermanreport.com and you can sign up there tonight. You can start listening tonight. Strawman. I want to mention Strawman. Strawman is a band out of Toronto, Canada. They're good friends of the Opperman Report. They're a trio of guys who share the same mindset most of us here do, and they put that energy into their words and music. So check them out at strawmanmusic.com and drop them a line to let them know that you heard them here on the Opperman Report. We'll be doing an interview with Sean Duffy soon. You can get an autographed copy of my book, How to Succeed as a Private Investigator, by visiting my PI website, emailrevealer.com. We also offer a computer and cell phone forensics. We can recover deleted text messages to uncover infidelity. We offer asset searches, locates, email tracing, background reports, and we can even trace your spouse's email address back to internet dating websites to catch them cheating online. You can reach us at 800-572-9762, or you can email me at emailrevealer@aol.com. New World Mexican Women. Everyone loves the New World Mexican Women, and their line of fine, handcrafted, authentic Mexican jewelry of stone mosaic and abalone stone inlay. In their first book, titled New World Mexican Women, available on lulu.com, they teach you how to make this jewelry, and they have a collection of love letters to their men from their hometown that have immigrated to the United States to find work. They have also published a new book entitled Azuquina to the Rodeo. It's about a young girl that falls in love with a rodeo bull rider, and she runs away with him without telling her family. You can find the New World Mexican Women by Googling New World Mexican Women. And you can ask them about their deals on wholesaling their fine jewelry and all of the other projects that they have going on. If you'd like to have your business or website advertised here and promoted all over the world on dozens of stations every day, give us a call at 800-572-9762 or email oppermanreport@gmail.com. And now back to our show. Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. The show is brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/Opperman Report. Get yourself a free audiobook. And wouldn't you love it if your ad was played right there every time I said, welcome back to the Opperman Report, I mentioned your business or your, what do you call it? Your business or whatever. Your website. You got an event coming up. It's so cheap. You can advertise at the Opperman Report. Oh, my God. You'd be so happy if you did. This would be the happiest day of your life. Okay, I was just telling a story, though, about how I'm going to start doing this column. I'm going to be a columnist. I'm going to add that to my IMDb page as soon as we seal the deal. It's for this magazine. It's almost like a women's magazine. And it's about yoga and ecology and all kinds of stuff like that. It's fancy pants kind of stuff. And I'm going to be talking about infidelity investigations, cyber stalking investigations, catfish investigations, that kind of stuff. Because targeted toward women who read this magazine, all about infidelity. My first article is going to be about Ashley Madison. So if you want to check out what I wrote about my research I've done into Ashley Madison, I did a show about that. You can go back and look it up on the Ed Opperman YouTube channel. During the week, last week's show, Doug Caddy, the attorney for the Watergate burglars. Okay, here's a guy, right? I'm getting a lot of response on that show. Check that out, guys. The attorney for the Watergate burglars, Doug Caddy. He's only done 3 interviews in his whole entire life. Okay, and I'm one of them. And this is a guy he's been in All the President's Men. He's been in Dean's book. This guy is John Dean's bagman, potential bagman anyway, because he turned it down. We have St. John Hunt coming back. Now, how cool is this? His book's not even out yet, and he contacted us to get on the show first. And this is one of the first shows he wants to be back on. He's writing a book about his mother. It's called Dorothy. His mother's a fascinating woman in herself. She was a CIA agent as well, married to E. Howard Hunt, the Watergate burglar, and the confessed JFK assassin, confessed on his deathbed. And she was a CIA agent as well. And she died in this mysterious plane crash on the way back, supposedly delivering some hush money. And then there's a lot of shenanigans went on with that, because right after that plane crashed, the FBI was there in 30 minutes ripping through the luggage and stuff like that, trying to find evidence. And Nixon appointed a new head of the FAA either that same day or the very next day. Did a show in the members section last week with Irvin Munchnick, a really cool guy. It's called Justice Denied, the Untold Story of Nancy Argentino's Death in Jimmy Superfly Snooker's Motel Room. Now, you know what? This is a really good show. And Irvin Munchnick is a great investigative reporter, the kind of guy you have a lot of respect for that I like. So check him out and check out that show. A lot of people, they'll say, it's about wrestling. I don't care about wrestling. But we talk about a lot of other stuff. And we talk about the case of the Penn State swimming team sex scandal, okay, which is different from the Sandusky scandal that was going on at Penn State, where he was raping little boys. There's a lot of evidence that the swim team over there was raping little girls. So, and it's all being covered up by the whole swim team organization, man. The whole, their governing boards and all that kind of stuff too. So people, don't judge a book by its cover. And you see, I did a show with Dennis Hoff. And people think, well, I've heard Dennis Hoff on Howard Stern. When I talk to these people, we talk about different stuff, and we get into the same topics and all the stuff that you like. So don't sell it short. By the way, we've been picked up by Truth Veterans Network, which is the station by all the guys that left Veterans Today, and they went and started their own radio network. We just got picked up by them. We're going to be on there Wednesday nights, and it's going to be a 1-hour show. Now, guess what? There's going to be brand new content. I'm going to be doing brand new content over there, and the plan is that'll be the same content that I put on these AM stations. We can get picked up over there. So I'm going to start doing an extra show during the week, guys, like a free type show. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those 2 shows, we're going to combine them together, and we'll put them in the. Oh, you know what? I might even take that 1-hour show and play it here for the after show. And not do this live after show and have to sit here and talk to myself. 702-605-4894. I may just have one of those new 1-hour shows and just play it here for you. But what I'm going to be probably doing is going back to a lot of the old guests that I've had on for 2 hours already, and do a 1-hour interview with them, and just to kind of recap and update and do that. And I'm already working on that. Oh, by the way, I got a great big interview going on tomorrow. This guy, Charlie Christie, who was the president of the Hells Angels in Ventura County, California. And he was at Altamont, and he got the copy. He's a really interesting guy. They're doing a whole series about him on History Channel. He has his own TV show right now on History Channel. And I got him booked. I'm doing an after member section show with him tomorrow. And he has a copy of the Waco, Texas biker fight down there, and from his blow-by-blow account of what he's seen on that tape, it was basically a fist fight with some bikers, and the cops just panicked and started shooting up the place. And then even after things were calmed down and the fight was over, these cops were still running around, all Rambo'd up and all pumped up and looking for trouble. So very interesting topic. We have him coming on. I'm going to be doing a member section show with him tomorrow. Let's see, what else? T.H. Johnson. Everybody remembers T.H. Johnson. I did a 6-hour show with T.H. Johnson, man, last year. Oh, my God. That was the longest show I ever did. And he came back on. We got a member section show with him, talking about Geronimo Pratt, and also a lot about the O.J. Simpson trial, and also about Johnny Cochran. And he's a real good guy, man, T.H. Johnson. I really like him. And I think we have a good rapport. So next week or the week after, it's still up in the air. Trevor Aronson. He's the author of the book The Terror Factory. And that's the story about how he's traced all these cases about how the FBI creates these terrorist events. Like they plug people into there and they con them and they entrap them into doing these terrorist projects where there's a fake bomb, and they supply them the fake bomb and the fake guns and fake machine guns, and they're wiretapping everybody along the way, and then they swoop in and make an arrest of everybody but their own provocateur that they had into this group to begin with. So whenever you see, basically the theory behind this book is that all these cases you hear about the FBI busting this terror group are all basically being staged by the FBI, by provocateurs that they put out there and lure in to make them set them up, to make it look like they had this big terrorist plot going on. Now, he was supposed to come on tonight, but he just had a baby September 10th, just yesterday, a little girl. So I'm not going to bug the guy and make him come on. I'm a nice guy, me, right? So, we gave him the night off, and he's going to come on next week or the 25th. It's up to him. He has a brand new baby. Let him have fun. It's kind of funny because he says to me, oh, yeah, because he was talking to me. He says, yeah, the baby's supposed to be coming right around that day. And he says, but don't worry, I'll make it. And I says, dude, is this your first baby? He goes, yeah. He says, you don't know what you're in for, because you just become consumed when you have a little baby there, So either he's going to come on next week or the week after. It's all up in the air, and everybody's being real flexible. That's how we were able to get Larry Tillman tonight, because he was a really cool guy and was willing to fill in for us at the last second, just pretty much hanging out on standby. Can't thank him enough for that. Then we're going to be doing another show about anthrax. I have an author of a book about anthrax coming on, the whole anthrax story back in 2001, the same week as the 9/11 bombing. We're going to be doing a second anthrax show. This is going to be going a little bit more in depth of the different suspects and how it was obviously an inside job. Now, you might remember we had on Richard Lambert, who was the FBI director that was in charge of the anthrax investigation. And he told us a lot of interesting stuff. If you guys have not heard that interview, go back and look for Richard Lambert, anthrax, because he was the FBI agent in charge of this investigation, and now he's suing the FBI. Okay, he released a memo about how shoddy the investigation was, and you got to read between the lines in that interview, because he's in the middle of a lawsuit, and he's going to get paid off in that lawsuit, guys, and everybody else who has sued the FBI around that anthrax case has won their lawsuit. So as a matter of fact, anybody who wants to sue the FBI, you want to make some quick money, sue the FBI about anthrax, and they're going to send you a big chunk of money, man, like it's going out of style. Okay, let's see. That could be just about... the guy Trevor Aronson is the guy who's coming on. Anyway, guys, listen. Those are all my notes. I kind of brushed through. I left out a lot of stuff about the Wheisenberg case because there's a lot of stuff here that I'm still working on, and I don't want to tip my hand because there's a lot of shenanigans and skullduggery going on in the background and of people trying to silence that story. So I'm covering all my bases on that. So there's going to be definitely more reports on that in the future. Don't worry, especially after this October 9th when this new trial is about raping the little 3-year-old. So anybody want to call in real quick? We got about 14 minutes left. 702-605-4894. You can call me up and chat. And you got any questions in the chat room, I'll be happy to spit them out for you and answer. Otherwise, I got to tell you, one thing is the story about the woman that I had on, the child abduction story. It was a Saturday night, it was one of the free shows we do. And I got to tell you something, that show, I would say about 10,000. There was no promo for the show. I didn't do a blog post about it. I didn't even announce it until 5 minutes before the show was going on. I don't even think I even announced it at all. And we did this show. Now, between Spreaker and YouTube and iTunes and iHeart and Stitcher and all these, about 10,000 people have listened to that show, you know? And I got to tell you, man, if out of 10,000 people, if we could just get, you know, like 10%, you know, 1%, you know, that's a free show that I'm throwing out there at the last minute. You know, if someone's ripping their heart out to talk to you. And, you know, if we could just get 1% to subscribe to the members section, what we could be doing here, you guys could not believe. We could really, really be doing some serious investigations and get some documentary films going and really, really get it and get on this station in California there in Malibu. I really believe that's our foothold. We get on there and it'll be a steamrolling effect. And I just want to break even with the ads because I'll make the money on the member section and the little jobs I get to the PI business that come through the show. And that'll be enough. But where I am right now, I'm devoting half my work day to the PI work and then half my work day to the radio show. And as a matter of fact, even more to the radio show, to be honest with you. And there's a lot of work involved in this. Okay. So, guys, you can call in 702-605-4894. You can call in, sing a happy birthday to me if you want. If you want to bring up a topic in the chat room, something to talk about. One thing's kind of bugging me lately, and I almost want to do a whole show about it. It's this thing about this woman who didn't want to do the marriage licenses down there. I think it's in Kentucky, and how they threw her in jail. One thing I got to tell you is whether you agree with the gay marriage or you don't agree with gay marriage, or if you agree with that she has a right to, you know, or the Supreme Court's decision, states' rights, all this kind of stuff like that. One thing we don't need is this kind of rude bigotry, you know, against Christians. You know, it's very, very offensive to see people insulting this woman's faith and making a mockery of her and stuff like that. I'm a Christian, and I make no secret of that. And I got to tell you, when I see that kind of stuff, it's offensive to me. Whether you agree with, you know, there's no reason to insult a person or go into their background or their life and her divorces, you know, or even insult the gay people that come in there and filling out the stuff. And by the way, I'm kind of working a little bit behind the scenes with that too. And that when they made this ruling and the staff went in and were doing the marriage licenses, people were going in there with showing no ID and getting licenses. People who don't live in that county were getting licenses, just like as a novelty. And the staff was so terrified they couldn't even say no because they were afraid they were going to get arrested next. So it's a really bizarre situation. Cisco Street Love, we got to keep praying for Cisco. Got a question here from Timothy from the chat room. What is the latest on the preacher locked up for voter fraud? Reverend Ed Pinkney. I have not heard from Reverend Pinkney, and I also haven't heard from Cisco Street Love either. So these are two people that I have to track down and find out what's going on with both of them. It's so freaking busy here. You have no idea. You know, I got to do this interview tomorrow, and then Vic has, you know, me and Vic now we're fighting over this one computer. Now that school's back in action here, we're just exhausted, both of us. And I don't even know if I mentioned this too, but you know, I kind of I hurt my ankle, man. I've been limping. I've been walking with a cane. You know, it's funny because my ex-girlfriend, you know, from New York, that she lives out here, and we see each other a lot. The last time I saw her, because she's like a hairdresser. Last time I saw her when Vic was going out on that first date with that kid, she went to the movies with him about a year ago. So, when we were dating back in New York, this is when I had the nightclub. This is when I had a limousine and stuff like that. You know, this young guy running with the bulls and doing all this crazy stuff. And now they take me out for my birthday, and I got, my I haven't dyed my hair in a couple of years. I'm limping with this limp, and I'm sitting there. I'm asking these waiters at this mafia restaurant. It's a notorious restaurant. Well, I'm vegetarian. You got any vegetarian foods? And this, I eat it, So this whole wacky, this whole wacky thing going on there at the restaurant. Anyway, so we're getting toward, let's see, almost to the end of the show. Got about another 10 minutes to go. We can take a quick phone call. Ed, question. Is your former client from Alaska involved in a impaling case? Okay. Oh, yeah, good old Shirley Tripp. She's another one I've lost touch with. But she is all right as far as, because, there was that whole incident where she was kidnapped. She was abducted by, it was like a domestic violence kind of situation. And but she's okay now, as far as I know, as far as that goes. And she's a good kid too, and it really got mixed up in something way over her head. Big mess. And another one too with the special needs kid, and rough time. But she's kind of keeping a low profile on that one, hiding out. So there's that, and she's cool. And Pinkney, we got to check on Pinkney, man, and help him out too. The last thing I know, they wanted me to find some expert witness for them. I think it was like a handwriting expert. I couldn't find one for him. And I couldn't find one to volunteer to work for Pinkney. But, when this thing with the John Benet Ramsey case came up with Melinda Kula and the suspect that she has in the... the suspect that she has in this John Benet Ramsey case. As soon as I, asked her on, hey, do we have any handwriting experts who want to help us out on that? Man, forget it. We got them right away. Someone's asking, why do you think a 9-year-old kid can't see a pirate movie? You're asking me that question? I don't care if they see a pirate movie. I don't know what that's about. Something just came to my mind before that pirate movie thing popped up. What is this? Let me see what this is here. Wait a second. This pirate movie. The chat room's crazy. You guys got to check out the chat room that I keep an eye on. The chat room that I keep an eye on is the one on Spreaker. I don't know what he's making a stupid joke. He says, why can a 9-year-old see a pirate movie? Because it's rated R. All right. Okay, you know what? I can block people in the chat room and block them out for stupid jokes. Okay. I tell you, I'm usually the one. Oh, I made him a good joke today. Rick Perry announced that he's resigning from the run. He's going to drop out of the presidential race, and he's going to be hosting The Apprentice next season. How's that? Oh, boy. So, okay, let's see here. 5:53. We got 7 minutes to go. You can call in if someone wants to call in. Wish me happy birthday. 702-605-4894. Hey, my joke was good. I wrote that joke myself. Let's see. What else is going on here? I'll go back to my notes. I'll start making stuff up. Why not? See what I can come up with. I got a little announcement. Coming up, September 15th, the issue of My Vegas magazine, naming the top 100 men of Las Vegas. And who has been nominated as one of the top 100 men of Las Vegas? Your host, private investigator Ed Opperman, host of the Opperman Report. Now, it's kind of funny because I named the top 100 something. I don't know if it's the most influential or it's definitely not the wealthiest, that's for sure, or the richest in Las Vegas. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm the 100 something in Las Vegas. It could be the 100 biggest jerks in Las Vegas, as far as I know, and then the joke would be on me, right? But that magazine is coming out September 15th, and also too, the other big joke going around is what number am I? Am I going to be number 99 or am I going to be number 100 out of the 100 if I'm the last one? But hey, what the hell? Who cares if I'm 99? As long as I'm in there. And I spell my name right. But it's coming out September 15th. It's My Vegas Magazine. They're online, myvegasmagazine.com. and I still gotta lose some weight because I'm going to this award ceremony. I think they make you pay for the award. I'm just waiting to find out. I'm sure it's not free. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch, but so I'm trying to lose some weight for that. Okay, let's see. Okay. Actually, I don't know what they're talking about. The chat room is crazy, but this is definitely my favorite chat room. The one here in Spreaker. It's the only one that I can sit and watch. Good old Sean Duff. He went to the Opperman.com website, and he did all kinds of great updates and new improvements to it. He added a bookstore, so whenever we have a guest with a book, you can go there, and we'll put your book up there with the link to Amazon or the link to your bookstore, whatever. And as we just put some ads on there too, so there's some AdSense ads on there too. Don't go crazy clicking on it too many times, but if you click on those ads, we'll make some money. Okay, but don't all do it at once. Let's see what else. The bookstore, he's done a lot of improvements to it. So check that out, OppermanReport.com, the good old website there. Good old Sean Duff from the band Strawman. And what do you call it? The band Strawman. And his website is strawmanmusic.com, I think it is. But it's in the commercials. You can always check it out and listen to it there. Let's see. What else is going on? Website. And I was going to say something else about the website. Oh, yeah. One thing I was going to say, too, is the benefits of advertising on this show, once again, is that especially now that we put the new bookstore on the website there, we sold 300. Because I get a commission on those Amazon books, through the Amazon affiliate, and we sold 300 items on Amazon, and it's kind of funny too, because if it's really funny. If I don't know if he's going to come back or not, man. Okay, that's Tegan. He comes on, and then he doesn't know what the show is about. He doesn't, So yes, I'm working on another book. Okay, Tegan, the book, my original book, How to Succeed as a Private Investigator. I took it down from Amazon. I had to change some stuff about the state licensing stuff in there because they had changed. Some states had changed their state licensing, so I was getting some complaints about that. So I pulled it down, and I'm adding a couple of chapters and stuff like that. I'm updating the book. I'm working on a deal. It's a whole big complicated thing, but I want to merge my PI business with another company, and I'm going to merge my digital forensic business with another company as well. So I'm just working that out. So we're going to put it in the book because that's part of the deal with the digital forensic business. But back to the Amazon.com thing. And that's why it's a benefits advertising a show, because we sold 300 items from Amazon.com. And it's interesting, too. You guys may not realize this, but and I may embarrass a few people right now, because if you click on one of the books and then you don't buy that book, but you go buy something else, let's say like a vibrator or something like that, I see what you bought, okay? So some of you guys are out there buying some pretty interesting stuff, okay? I'm not going to embarrass anything. Rebecca Roth, okay? I definitely want to have a Rebecca Roth on the show as well. I heard that interview, and she doesn't seem like she's interviewed that much either. So I'm going to reach out to her, and we're going to get her... we're going to reach out to her and have her... what do you call it? Do a show with us. Do most PIs typically also have a concealed carry permit? I do not have a concealed carry permit right now. I do have guns. We have guns in the house. I don't see a lot of need for guns for PI work. At one time I was... I don't do bodyguard work at all. The idea of a protection from investigating folks who don't want to be investigated mostly, I think that's overblown and overrated too. I've done a lot of process servant work. I've done repos, auto repos. I've done all kinds of stuff like that. And all kinds of, even semi kind of light bodyguard kind of stuff too. And I've never really needed a gun. I like shotguns and stuff like that. I did have a gun dealer's license once at a federal, what is it, FAA, Federal Firearms, FFA, Federal Firearms license, way back in the 80s. Which, who knows, you know? I'll get into all kinds of stuff. So anyway, that's about the end of our show. So that's the plan from now on. We're going to be doing that extra show on Veterans Truth Network on Wednesday nights. It should be this Wednesday. It should be the first night. Hey, by the way, good night, Awake Radio. We love you. We'll talk to you soon. And thank you for all the help of you guys over there helping me out trying to get on, what's that called? Shaz's Radio. Thank you. Okay, so Awake is gone. Now we can talk about them behind their backs. Okay, but I'm going to end the show. Unless somebody wants to call in, and we're still on Spreaker, I can give you a couple of minutes if you guys want to call in or something. Otherwise, I'm going to go get some food. I don't know. I might even buy a bottle of vodka, something like that, because I haven't had a drink in about 40 days. And it's been a rough, long week. Yeah. Okay, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you guys, too. We're down to the last couple of minutes. Somebody wants to call in 702-605-4894. Otherwise, you will see me when I'm... Yeah, okay, real quick on that. Can you help clear a person from the internet, like help remove info? Yes, I can. There's a lot of different ways to do that. Jessica, if it's you, I'll help you for free. Just give me a call. I'll help you out. But there's a lot of things you can do. Oh, my God. I could tell you guys a story. I would love to tell you this story. I would love to tell you one story about all the stuff that was being... this client I had, was on Craigslist, and he met some guy on Craigslist, and the guy started posting all this information he had about him on the internet. And we got all this stuff removed. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but you can really mess it up, too, if you don't do it the right way. But yeah, we can track down the person who's posting it. We can get a lot of it removed, and also too, if you can't get it removed, what you can do is you can bury it by having a lot of different stuff in front of it with the same keywords. And I know how to do all that kind of stuff. Thank you for the show, Ed. Happy birthday. Listen, thank you all, Tegan, Jessica, Timothy. Timothy, come by more often, okay? And, I love all you guys. I love you all very much. Thank you very much. Keep us in your prayers. If you want to wish me a happy birthday, send me a member section. Subscribe to the show. We might have to do something with I'll do like a big discount with PayPal, because we got to get the ball rolling with this AM station in California. I feel it. I even have I printed out a big map of the coverage area, and I got it on the thumbtack board in front of my desk here to stare at it. All right, guys. Good night. Thank you for joining our show this week. Check us out. By the way, I'm on a new station too. Saturday mornings, I think it is. It's tomorrow morning, really, really bright and early. Called Freedom in America Radio, and they might be getting some new content too as well. I might be sending them some shows that you don't hear on Friday nights. And of course, one of my favorite, you guys, if you guys enjoy this chat room, you should check out the chat room on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. at Para X Radio. They have a really, really cool chat room with really smart people in there that are really cool. So you should check that out. And they replay my show over there. One of the repeats. Sometimes I give them a new show. Sometimes I give them an old show. But they're all really, really cool people over there. And it's a very smart chat room. Okay. I'm done, guys. I'm done. Okay. And I think I am going to have that drink. I think I'm going to go buy a bottle of vodka and celebrate my birthday and my misery here on September 11th. But I love you guys. Thank you so much. And everybody, I know not everybody can afford to be a member, And don't think sometimes I get these emails, people apologize. You don't have to apologize. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. We're all pushing forward. And I really, real quick before I go, is I've inspired. Don't say goodbye to me. I'm still talking. Yeah. Ted Gunderson was a director of the FBI California district, and he then became a private investigator. But it's some interesting stuff. I was on the same trial as Ted Gunderson. We never met each other doing it, but he was on the same case as I was involved in one time. What do you call it? I forgot what I was going to say. You distract me, you guys. Okay, right. Me and Vic went to church. Went to a brand new church last Sunday. Okay, and it's this tiny little church. They're just building, and they're starting in a middle school. Rents like the cafeteria to them, and that's where we're meeting at this church. And so the pastor of the church, he says, well, it was Labor Day, right? Labor Day weekend, so hardly anybody was there. And he says, I just want to give everybody an update on, we're building this church. We're trying to grow. And he goes into this whole thing about how he feels like building this church and trying to grow this church is like pushing a big stone, rolling a stone up a mountain, and you hope you get to the top and then it'll be coasting, easy coasting. And he was talking about how it's like a snowball. How you start pushing a snowball, and a snowball, you push it along the snow, and it starts growing, getting bigger and bigger. And then he says, but whatever you do, you got to keep pushing forward. Now, you guys have heard me say that a million times. I always say, whenever I talk to these people, we talk to some pretty serious people, man, that are, activists and people put their butts on the line and lived very difficult lives for their beliefs, And we always say that. You hear it so often. You say, well, just keep pushing. What do you do? What you have? Are you optimistic? You got to keep pushing forward. And he said that on Sunday. And then in these 2 interviews, if you listen this week with Margaret Randall, the woman who wrote the book about Che Guevara, and with Leslie, the young man from the bookstore, the burningbooksbuffalo.com, about his book about Sam Melville. They both brought up that again, too, about keep pushing forward, just keep pushing forward. So I was very inspired by both of those. I went into both of those interviews in a really bad mood in the morning. And by the time I was finished with both of them, I was very encouraged. So I would hope that I could share that with you. And if you guys will listen to those shows, you'd be encouraged as well. And that's what I take away from this week. My 53rd year on this planet is that we must resist and we must keep pushing forward. We have no other choice but to resist. Because to stop resisting would be to give up and let them steamroll over us. So they're pushing on us. We got to keep pushing back. And that's what I would leave with tonight. Have a safe night, you guys. I'm going to play some Battlefield right now. All right, guys. Good night. I love you all. Good night, chat room. Good night, listeners. And we'll see you next week. Got a big show coming up, whoever the guest is. And tomorrow I got that Hell's Angel guy, which that should be a fun show. Looking forward to that. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye.